I'm going to show you my favorite way to make marinated tomatoes because I'm putting them on a delicious delicatessen Italian style sandwich called the Stallone. Okay, so I'm starting off with 2 Roma tomatoes. You can use all Roma tomatoes. This is just the combo I had today. I'm also using grape, and what I'm going to do first is create the marinade. So making marinated tomatoes, it always comes out best if you let it set overnight, but I want to make the sandwich today, so I'm going to let it marinate for like 2 hours or so. I'm starting off with 1½ tablespoons of red wine vinegar, 1½ tablespoons of balsamic vinegar. I'm also going to add cracked black pepper. I'm kind of eyeballing things because I make this all the time. I'm also going to add like 1 teaspoon of dried basil. If you have fresh basil, that works even better. I'm also adding probably like a 1/4 teaspoon of dried oregano. And as always, I like to say you want to season and salt to your preference. Okay, now I'm going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of crushed red pepper flakes. And the ratios of these dried herbs and seasonings are up to you. Here I'm going to grate in 1 clove of garlic. By the way, while I'm doing this, I just want to mention this marinade that I'm making for the tomatoes, I love to also add red onion and cucumbers into the mix. It's such a refreshing type salad, and the marinade is so good. Okay, that goes in. Now I'm going to add a pinch of salt. Again, salt to your preference. You can start with a 1/4 teaspoon. And now all I'm going to do is mix and combine well. And what I'm going to do now is add around 3 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. And I'm just going to drizzle that in, and it's going to emulsify. It will thicken as you whisk and emulsify it. So you might wonder if you need to add maybe a pinch of sugar. You definitely can, but I feel like the natural sweetness of the tomatoes are enough for this marinated dish. Okay, so that is emulsified. Now I'm going to work on cutting and prepping the tomatoes. So I have a motley crew of tomatoes that need to be used, but typically I would use maybe around 5 Roma tomatoes for the ratio of marinade that I just created. And I'm just going to cut these into like wedges. Some people just don't want to eat tomato seeds and the center. You can remove that if you like. Today I am using these marinated tomatoes for a sandwich. Some of you may know of this sandwich. It's called the Stallone, and you can get it at Tony's Delicatessen. I believe it's a national chain, and it's an Italian like food sandwich shop, and this is what it looks like. It's Italian sub roll with a variety of meats, provolone cheese, marinated tomatoes, and pesto as a spread. It's so good and simple to make, and I've been making it at home, and I want to show you. So I'm adding the tomatoes to the marinade, and like I said, overnight for best results, I'm going to be using this in a couple of hours for dinner. So I'm going to add all of that into the bowl, and you'll want to give it a mix and give it a taste. If you want to adjust the seasoning, if you want more crushed red pepper flakes, go for it. And quite honestly, I don't know Tony's Delicatessen recipe for marinated tomatoes, but I just figured this is what I do anyway, so that's what I'm going to do today. Okay, so I'm going to cover this and put it in the fridge. So now let's build the sandwich. I got a toasty sub roll, and the first layer is going to be pesto. I have store-bought pesto. If you really want to be extra, you can make that from scratch. So I'm just going to add a couple of spoonfuls and just spread it onto the bread. Recently, I was perusing social media and I saw that this sandwich was trending, and I thought, I know this sandwich. I've had this sandwich before. So let me show everyone how I make my homemade version. Okay, so pesto on, and now I'm going to add my red onion slices. And the type of meats that go on this sandwich I'm going to be using, and this is actually what goes on it, smoked ham. I have some capicola, Genoa salami, sopressata, and provolone, and I probably said all of that wrong. But yeah, that is the combo that they put on this Stallone sandwich. So I'm just going to start building it. And there is probably a really good way to put the sandwich together. For example, I think I should have put the tomatoes on the bread so they don't slide around, but such is life. I'm going to make it work. Okay, so my tomatoes have been marinating for a while, so now I am going to add them right on top of everything. I even like the marinade to be in the sandwich. It just gives everything a really good flavor. It brings it together. The rich deli meats and the brightness of the tomatoes in the marinade, it's just so good. Such a good combo. And that's it. This is the Stallone sandwich. And this is what I'm making everyone for dinner. But I'm going to try it first. You know, quality control. And I know some of you are thinking, why didn't you just go to Tony's Delicatessen and pick some up? Well, right now I'm not near one. I mean, I could drive and go get this, but you know, it's fun making stuff at home. Gosh, this is so good. So I hope you give this recipe a try. I hope you like it, and thanks for watching.